understand how you can download the code into Raspberry Pi. I will also share the recording link, so no need to write. You can just follow the lectures. Okay, so now we will begin with the main part, configuring Raspberry Pi. Okay, so there are two major steps when we are using Raspberry Pi. One is configuring the operating system. This OS is operating system and interfacing the hardware, right? So what does this mean? Configuring the OS and interfacing the hardware. I'll give one example. Suppose you are buying a new laptop, right? So what is the first thing the shopkeeper will do? Can anyone tell me what is the first thing the shopkeeper will do after opening the laptop? Suppose the laptop is not having any operating system. It is only having BIOS. It is neither having Windows, neither having Mac, neither having Ubuntu. So what is the first step when you buy the laptop? The shopkeeper will install any one of the operating system, right? So suppose you want Ubuntu, so he will install Ubuntu or Windows. So the first step when you buy any laptop is installing the operating system. So this is similar to your Raspberry Pi. When you are buying Raspberry Pi, the first thing you have to do is install the operating system, because unless you install the operating system, you cannot use any computer, right? So this is like a mini computer. So first step is you have to install the operating system. Once the operating system is installed, you can then go for interfacing the hardware. So these are the two main steps. We are going to see one by one. First is your installing the operating system. Second is the interfacing of hardware. So let's see the first step, how you can install the operating system. Okay. So for that, we have some hardware requirement and software requirement. We are going to see why this is required, why we need a SD card, why we need a SD card reader. So what are the hardware requirements? So when you are buying a Raspberry Pi, so Raspberry Pi will be given by the college, right? Like Arduino was given to you by college, Raspberry Pi will also be given to you by the college. But what you have to buy? You have to buy your SD card. So every group will have to buy a SD card, minimum 4 GB. So every group will have to buy a SD card and a SD card reader. So these two things every group have to buy on their own. SD card and SD card reader. And what software we require? These are all open source SD card formatter. So for this step, configuring the OS, apart from Raspberry Pi, we will require SD card and SD card reader, and we will require SD card formatter. Okay, so what are the steps? First step is you have to go to this website, raspberrypi.com/software, and you have to download the software. There is one icon, download for Windows, and you have to download the software. So once you click this, I will show you the interface, how it will look. So once you download for Windows, it will be this software will open, Raspberry Pi Imager. As you can see in this image, this software you need to download, Raspberry Pi Imager. This is used to configure the operating system. So once we click on this download for window and install and open the software, the GUI will look like this, right? So then you have to select which operating system you have to install. Different options are there, right? First option is Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit. Second option is Raspberry Pi OS others. So all these options are there. You have to go for the first one because we have to install the operating system, right? So what you have to do? You have to first go to raspberrypi.com/software and you have to install this software, Raspberry Pi Imager. And once you install this, you have to open this software. You have to select Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit. Then it will ask you where you have to install. So you have to go to storage. So once you open Raspberry Pi Imager, this is the interface you will get. First, you have to click in the first tab. First, you have to click here. So once you click here, this window will open. You have to select 32-bit. Then you have to select the storage. Then you have to click on choose storage. So once you click choose storage, you will get this option of SD card. Then you have to select SD card 15 GB. So this is a SD card with 15 GB. So then you have to select this storage. Once you select this storage, Raspberry Pi interface will ask you to set host name. So you have to set the host name as Raspberry Pi. And then you have to check this enable SSH. You have to give a tick mark, you have to check this box. And then you have to select this use password authentication. And then you have to give the password. The username will be Pi and password will also be Pi. And then you have to check this box, configure wireless LAN, and you have to give your own ID and password for hotspot. So you can give any name, ID and password. This is the name for hotspot. Again, this might sound a little difficult, but once you do a hands-on, it will be very easy. So after your exams are over and you are coming in the next semester, you will get the Raspberry Pi board and you have to do the hands-on. So you can refer this slide then, and it will be very easy for you. Now it might look a little alien that what are the steps, but it is very easy. So you have to do it step by step. First step was what? First step was to download the software. Second step was to select on Raspberry Pi operating system 32-bit. Then it will ask that where you have to install. So you have to choose the SD card. So once you have selected the SD card, you have to do the configuration that okay, I have to enable SSH, I have to set the username password, I have to set the configure wireless LAN. So these three things you have to do. And then you have to, it will ask you whether you want to overwrite all the data. Then you have to click on yes. Once you press yes, it will install the operating system on the SD card. So it will take around 15 to 20 minutes to install the software. And then after installation, you will get this message that you can now remove the SD card from the reader. So after you are getting this message, you can remove the SD card. So I'll just show you one image where this SD card is used. See, so this is the diagram of a Raspberry Pi, and this is the place where SD card slot is there. So the same SD card you have to insert in this slot, right? So before that, you have to use the SD card in the SD card reader, and then you have to do all these steps. So once it is installed in the SD card, you have to insert this SD card in the Raspberry Pi. As you can see in this diagram, this SD card is inserted in the Raspberry Pi. So this is the same SD card where we have installed the operating system, right? So this is all about step number 1, configuring the operating system. So let me quickly revise what are the steps again. So first step is what? Go to raspberrypi.com/software, download this software, Raspberry Pi Imager, and then install this software. And then you have to select the operating system, and then you have to select the storage. So unless you have inserted the SD card reader, you will not get this option. So it is like a pen drive, right? So it is like a pen drive. So once you insert the SD card, you will get this storage. Select this storage, do this configuration, and then select yes, and then OK. So it will overwrite and it will install the operating system. So this is all about step number 1. And then you have to insert this SD card in the Raspberry Pi. Now we will go to step number 2, where we will do a hardware, where we will do a sensor interfacing. Till now you have any doubt, then please ask. If you have any small or big doubt, you can ask. Anything like which you don't understand, I'll just show you by going to this website where you can download. So I'll just go to raspberrypi.org. See, this website is there. Then you have to go to computers and softwares. See, once you come back to the campus, if you have any doubt, you can come to me and we will do the step-by-step hands-on. See, once I click on software, I'm getting this window, download for Windows. So once I click, this software will be installed. Let me see if I've installed this image. I have not installed this in this laptop. I have done it in a different laptop. So the steps are same. So now let us see the next part. So first part we have seen. So what was the next part? See, the first part is done, configuring the OS. Now we will do the second part, interfacing the hardware, right? So let's go for interfacing the hardware. Okay. So again, for interfacing the hardware, we will require some software. What is the first software we will require? We will require Putty, and then we will require VNC viewer. So these are the two software which are required to create the connection, because there is no wired connection. You know, in Arduino, how you were connecting using a USB port, but in Raspberry Pi there is no USB port. You have to connect it wirelessly. So to create that wireless connection, we will be using this software, Putty and VNC viewer. So these two, first we will see where you can download this software, Putty and VNC viewer. So again, you have to go to putty.org. There is a website, putty.org, and you can download Putty. So first step is downloading this Putty software. Then you have to go to realvnc.com, and then you have to download this software, VNC viewer. So once you have both this software, we will open this software. So now, before that, you have to create a hotspot. So most of you might be knowing that in laptop, we have this feature where you can create a hotspot, right? So first step is creating hotspot to connect the Raspberry Pi board. So this is my screenshot from my laptop network setting. So I will just go to hotspot and I will change my network name. I will give the same name which I have given while I was configuring the OS. So network name I have given Divya, and network password 12345678. This is the same name which I have given while I was configuring the OS. So see, as you can see, this name Anu and Anu123, right? So Anu and Anu123 is the username and password. So the same name you have to give here, hotspot name. So this was given by Divya ma'am. So she has given Divya and 12345678. So once you give this name, your Raspberry Pi will be connected to your hotspot and you will get the IP address. This IP address is very important. So this is the device name, Raspberry Pi, and this is the IP address. So once you have got this connection, it will ensure that your device is connected to your laptop hotspot. So now you can open this software, Putty. So now you will open Putty software and you will copy paste this IP address and you will paste it here. Same IP address, you have to paste it here. And then you will press open. You don't have to change any other thing. You just have to copy paste this IP address and then press open. So once you press open, you will get this kind of window. And it will ask you to log in. It will ask you to give the login pass ID and login password. So you have to give the same ID and password which you have given while configuring. Right? You remember we have given Pi and Pi. This is the same software ID, username ID which we have given here. See, Pi and Pi. So this is the same username and password we are using when you are opening the software. So once this connection is done, we will enter Pi and Pi. It will give me a message that, okay, it is connected. And then we have to press this command. We have to write sudo Raspberry Pi config. This will open the configuration window of Raspberry Pi. We have to do some configuration to open the operating system of Raspberry Pi. So I will write sudo raspi-config. I will press enter. I will get this kind of interface. Then I will go to interface option number 3, and then I will press enter. Then I will go to VNC and I will press enable graphical remote access using real VNC. So I want to see the graphical interface. So I will go to VNC and I will press again enter. And then it will give me the message that VNC server is enabled. I'll press OK and then I'll press finish. So once I do finish, and I will open this software, open VNC viewer, and I will enter the same IP address. It is the same IP address which I had copied in putty. So once I enter, after pressing the IP address, I will get the authentication username and password. I will again press pi and press OK, and I will get the window. I will get the window of Raspberry Pi. So this is the operating system, 32-bit operating system which we are using. So now I will just install this code, blinking code. So this is the program from blinking LED. As you can see, initially I have given it low, GPIO low. So what is GPIO? It is general purpose input output. So as you can see the pin diagram of Raspberry Pi, all these pins are input and output both. So there is no concept of analog pin and digital pin. All the pins can be used for analog and digital, and both can be used for input and output. This is the advantage of Raspberry Pi. So all these pins, GPIO, all these pins can be used for either digital or analog. And there are lots of pins for connection also. So once you explore your project, you'll get a more idea. So we'll just implement a simple program of blinking LED. So I'll just use this program. I'll paste it in the programming window and I will run the program. So then I will do the necessary connection. See, I have given pin number 8. So I have to connect the anode to pin number 8 and cathode to ground. So which is pin number 8? See, GPIO 14, which is ground pin number 6. So 6 and 8 I will use. I will connect this pin to 6 and 8 and then I will press run. So once I press run, this LED will start blinking. Right? So let me quickly revise the steps again. It is a little confusing first time because while we were understanding, it was also confusing for us because there are lots of new steps, and until you do it couple of times, you will not get the idea. Just by looking at the slide, I also did not understood first time. So just by looking at the slide, most of the things will look very difficult. But once you are into the campus after your end term, and once you start doing hands-on, you will find it very easy. Once you will take time, but after that it will be very easy for you to implement. So let me quickly brief you again from the second step. So the first step was clear, how you can download the operating system, and then you have to insert this SD card. So once this SD card is inserted, we will go for the second step. So everyone should install this software first, Putty and VNC in your laptop. And you can download this using these two websites, Putty and putty.org and RealVNC. Once you have downloaded, the first step is to create the hotspot to connect the Raspberry Pi board. So it's very simple. You have to just go to your network setting in Windows 8. You will get an option to create hotspot in your laptop. You just have to click that. You have to change the network name and network password, and then you have to wait for the Raspberry Pi to connect. You have to give power to your board, and then the board will be connected to your laptop. You will get such IP address that it is connected with an IP address of something. You have to copy this IP address. You have to open Putty. You have to copy paste and you have to press open. Once you press open, you will get this window. You have to log in as Pi, and then you have to type sudo raspi-config. Once you press this config, you will get this window. You have to go to interface option. You have to go for VNC, and then you have to press finish. So once you do all those steps, then you have to open VNC viewer and enter the IP address. Once you press IP address and enter the password, your windows will open. Then you have to open a new programming window and you have to copy paste any LED blinking program. And you have to simply run. See, this run is here now. Once you write the code, you press run. If there is no error, see, while true, this program will make it high and this program will make it low. So this is a simple on and off program for a LED. And once you run this code, you will get a LED blinking. So this is a very simple program just to start. So I expect everyone to just start by a simple program, and then you have to slowly explore on your own how you can connect a potentiometer, how you can connect a sensor, how you can connect a microphone. So all those steps are available online. You have to just understand the first program and then you have to explore on your own, like you have explored Arduino, right? So this is all about configuring the Raspberry Pi. Okay, anyone has any small or big doubt, you can ask. Okay, as I had promised you earlier that this will not take much time, and I think I had ended it in by half an hour only. Anyone has any doubt, like, okay, which step? As I had said earlier, most of the things will look very weird now. That, okay, what is this? What is that? But once you start doing it on your own, once you install all the software, follow this slide line by line, start doing it on your own, LED blinking program, you will get a confidence. Okay, this is not that much difficult. And then you can start building on it, you can start exploring, and maybe you can do a very complex project in your next semester. Okay, so I guess if no one has any doubts, so I'll wish you all the best for your upcoming exams. And once your exams are over and once you start working on Raspberry Pi and you have any doubt, then you feel free to come to me. I'll just, you can meet me in Department of EC. My name is Arvind Kumar. So if you have any doubt regarding doing the hardware connection, you can feel free to contact me. And yeah, I have already joined your class group, so you can message me personally also if you have any doubt. So okay, all the best for your exams, and hopefully we'll meet after your semester exams. Okay, so I'm ending this meeting. I hope no one has any doubt.